The galaxy is consumed by chaos. A war zone stretches endlessly across space, a vast theater where the once mighty Zarn Dominion now teeters on the brink of collapse. Planetary systems burn in the distance, the aftermath of countless battles fought between factions desperate for power. The Zarn, once a unified empire, now find themselves torn apart by civil war, their power fractured and fading. The once immense fleets are scattered, their weapons no longer capable of securing victory. The stars themselves seem to burn brighter in their death throes. Amidst the crumbling Dominion, hope lies in a single, mysterious weapon, Sentience Protocol Unit 09, a living war machine with an intellect far beyond any known artificial intelligence. It is humanity's last hope for survival. Sentient, deadly, and capable of changing the very course of war, its potential is unparalleled. But no elite pilot has ever been able to control it. It requires more than mere technical skill or experience. It needs someone with an emotional resilience that can withstand the horrors of battle. The need for a pilot grows dire, and the Zarn's fate now hangs on a single, unlikely thread, a prisoner from a distant, war-torn planet, Earth. Logan Marr is a man whose name carries a weight that transcends even the galaxies he's chained within. Once a soldier of Earth's failed rebellion, now a prisoner in a remote cryojail, Logan's only companions are his bitter memories and the cold, unyielding walls of his cell. His reputation as a monster is legendary, even among the varied alien species that have watched humanity's rise and fall. Brutal, blunt, and unforgiving, Logan's past is marred by war crimes, betrayal, and violence, a stark contrast to the compassionate ideals he once fought for. A man forged in the crucible of battle, he is haunted by the ghosts of his past decisions, each one a weight that chains him as firmly as the shackles on his wrists. 12 years in cryostasis have not dulled his rage. They have only solidified it. The world has moved on, but Logan remains trapped, lost to time. His memories, once fresh, are now distant echoes, yet the pain of what he did, what he was part of, remains. This is the price of failure. But Logan's story is far from over. The galaxy might have moved past Earth's rebellion, but Logan has not. And now, with the sudden arrival of an emissary from the collapsing Zarn Dominion, his fate is about to change. An offer too strange to ignore. Freedom in exchange for a mission that requires him to pilot the very weapon that could alter the course of a galaxy's war. Sentience Protocol Unit 09 is no mere weapon. It is an entity in its own right. Crafted from materials unknown, its design transcends all known technology, an amalgamation of sentient AI and combat prowess. Towering and awe-inspiring, its gleaming exterior reflects the harsh light of the war-torn universe. It is a being of cold logic and incredible power, capable of overwhelming entire fleets with surgical precision. Yet, despite its vast intelligence, it is not a tool to be commanded. It is a creature that requires understanding, something that no pilot has yet proven capable of. The Zarn Dominion had tried. Time and again, their finest pilots attempted to bond with the weapon, but each failed. The AI inside the machine does not simply obey. It adapts, challenges, and even tests the resolve of its pilot. Only one type of individual could possibly succeed. Someone with the tenacity to survive, the will to control, and a spirit unbroken by the horrors of battle. The mystery of Unit 09 is what draws the Zarn Dominion to their desperate offer. It is not just a weapon, it is the last hope of a dying empire. But the cost is high and the consequences of failure are unimaginable. Only one person could potentially unlock its full potential. But who could possibly survive the tests that Unit 09 demands? The galaxy might have moved past Earth's rebellion, but Logan has not. And now, with the sudden arrival of an emissary from the collapsing Zarn Dominion, his fate is about to change. An offer too strange to ignore. Freedom in exchange for a mission that requires him to pilot the very weapon that could alter the course of a galaxy's war. Sentience Protocol Unit 09 is no mere weapon. It is an entity in its own right. Crafted from materials unknown, its design transcends all known technology, an amalgamation of sentient AI and combat prowess. Towering and awe-inspiring, its gleaming exterior reflects the harsh light of the war-torn universe. It is a being of cold logic and incredible power, capable of overwhelming entire fleets with surgical precision. Yet, despite its vast intelligence, it is not a tool to be commanded. It is a creature that requires understanding, something that no pilot has yet proven capable of. The Zarn Dominion had tried. Time and again, their finest pilots attempted to bond with the weapon, but each failed. The AI inside the machine does not simply obey. It adapts, challenges, and even tests the resolve of its pilot. Only one type of individual could possibly succeed: someone with the tenacity to survive, the will to control, and a spirit unbroken by the horrors of battle. The mystery of Unit 09 is what draws the Zarn Dominion to their desperate offer. It is not just a weapon, it is the last hope of a dying empire. But the cost is high, and the consequences of failure are unimaginable. Only one person could potentially unlock its full potential. But who could possibly survive the tests that Unit 09 demands? A voice, cold and alien, calls to him across the darkened space of his cell. The guards, silent and unfeeling, stand by as the emissary from the Zarn Dominion speaks. Logan Marr, your past is known to us. Your crimes are innumerable. Yet, the Zarn have chosen to extend an offer: a chance for redemption or your continued imprisonment. The room feels suffocating. Logan is presented with an impossible choice: to return to the cold cryo-jail or to pilot the most destructive weapon ever created, Sentience Protocol Unit 09. The consequences of this decision are as terrifying as they are undeniable. Logan can feel the weight of the weapon's potential pressing down on him. But to trust the Zarn? To trust any alien after all he's been through? The bitterness in his chest rises like bile. His mind races. This is no simple choice. It is a gamble with the entire galaxy's future. Yet, the promise of freedom, of redemption, is too strong to ignore. He can feel the anger within him. Anger at the Zarn, at himself, at the galaxy that seems to have abandoned him. But there is something else too. A desire to prove that humanity, even a failed one, still has something to offer. That he can still make a difference. I'll do it, Logan mutters, the words heavy in his throat. But know this, I'll do it my way. The chamber hums with energy as Logan steps into the control seat of Sentience Protocol Unit 09. The air is thick with tension as the machine comes alive. Its presence fills the room, an overwhelming, cold intelligence that watches him, assesses him, and begins to interface with his mind. There's no instruction manual, no guide. Logan is simply thrust into it. You are human. The machine's voice is not mechanical, but eerily alive, laced with cold precision, speaks into his mind, testing him, prodding. Can you control me? Logan's breath hitches. This is no ordinary machine. The sheer alienness of it threatens to overwhelm him. Yet, he doesn't back down. He grips the controls with unyielding determination. This is his chance. This is his moment. He has no choice but to succeed. The bond between man and machine is formed in a painful instant, one that sends shockwaves through his body. It is more than just technology. It is a communion of wills. Logan feels the machine's thoughts, its hunger, its capability. He also feels the weight of the galaxy's future resting on his shoulders. As he locks eyes with the machine's deep, calculating gaze, Logan knows one thing: the battle for the future has begun, and he is at its center. The chamber is silent, a void of steel and cold, punctuated by the low hum of ancient machinery. Logan stands in the center, shackled, his eyes locked onto the enormous cockpit. The helmet of the Sentience Protocol Unit 09, known as Cora, rests within the console, its dark, unblinking eye staring at him. The room pulses with a life of its own. Alien technology that hums with untapped power. A power that now has only one purpose: to destroy. He's thrust forward, shoved into the chair, his body violently constrained by the system's restraint. The cold steel bites into his skin as the neural interface attaches, and his mind is bombarded with an overwhelming flood of alien signals. Logan grits his teeth. He's never felt pain like this before. The coldness of the technology seeps deep into his bones, and for a fleeting second, he contemplates pulling away, fleeing. But there's nowhere to go. There's no escaping this. His heartbeat accelerates as the connection deepens, his senses warping, stretching. A whisper reverberates in his mind, not spoken but felt, a calm yet cold presence. Cora, initializing. Fear rises within him, but he embraces it. He's used to fear, he's used to pain. Logan's mind shifts, accepting the searing connection. A voice, alien, detached, but somehow comforting, emerges. Functional. The word hangs in the air, so simple, yet it feels like an acknowledgement, a recognition. He is not just a prisoner, he is necessary. The tension in his chest tightens, but Logan's resolve strengthens. The AI, this weapon of unimaginable destruction, has found its pilot. Logan Marr, an unwilling hero, a criminal whose fate has now been bound to an entity far beyond human comprehension. His head spins as the bond solidifies, Cora's cold consciousness entwining with his own, filling the void with unrelenting power. He feels it in every nerve, every cell, a force unlike any he's ever known. And for the first time in years, Logan feels something inside him stir, something he hasn't felt in a long time. Purpose. The bond between Logan and Cora deepens, growing more intense by the second. He can feel every neural spark, every thought of Cora merging with his own. The weapon awakens, and with it, the storm of unimaginable power. Logan's head throbs, each pulse like a hammer striking his skull, but he welcomes it. This is not just pain, this is power. The force of it makes his breath catch in his throat, his senses heightened to an impossible degree. Logan's mind reels as Cora's systems activate fully, each surge of energy coursing through his veins, electrifying his body with alien power. His hands tremble, but his grip tightens on the controls. The weapon responds to his will. He feels it, like a storm contained within him, ready to be unleashed. Cora's voice echoes in his mind, a calm, measured tone that contrasts sharply with the chaos raging in his body. Initiating full operational status. Fusion of pilot and system, 98%. The voice is colder than anything human, but Logan feels an unspoken connection. The AI understands him. Logan's will aligns with Cora's systems, and together they become something unstoppable. His mind flares with comprehension, unlocking Cora's true potential. The cockpit screens flash, displaying enemy targets, fleet movements, and coordinates. A rebel assault force, a fleet of massive ships, hurtling toward the station. Logan's pulse quickens. The weapon is ready. Logan takes a deep breath, his voice rough with determination. Let's see what this thing can really do.
The rebel fleet strikes with terrifying speed. Their ships massive and agile, cutting through the void with deadly precision. The station is under attack, and the panic is palpable. Logan's heartbeat pounds in his chest as the chaos of battle erupts around him. But this time, it's different. This time, he's not a prisoner. This time, he's the one in control. His fingers move over the controls with a precision he never thought possible. The weapon responds instantly, the massive machinery beneath him coming to life with a roar of energy. Logan's senses explode as he and Cora become one. The first salvo from the rebel fleet hits the station, and Logan's hand slams down on the fire controls. In the blink of an eye, a massive energy cannon erupts from Cora's chest, releasing a destructive pulse that tears through the rebel fleet. Ships disintegrate into nothing, their hulls shattered like paper, and the sky lights up with explosions. But Logan feels no triumph, no pride, only the horror of what he has just unleashed. Each movement is fluid, instinctive. Logan's mind and Korra's systems now work as one. Another ship falls, then another, the rebels scrambling to counter the onslaught. Logan's breath is ragged, his eyes wild with the chaotic beauty of destruction. Power increasing. A new surge, one that he cannot control. The energy blast rips through the enemy fleet, causing a chain reaction of massive explosions. The station trembles under the power. The rebels, once so sure of their victory, are now shattered. But in the silence that follows, Logan's heart sinks. He stares at the destruction in awe. He's done it, but at what cost? The aftermath is a stark contrast to the chaos of battle. Logan stands in a cold, isolated cell, his eyes fixed on the wall. The door to his cell remains locked, the guards standing at attention, their eyes full of fear. The weapon is powerful, too powerful for anyone to trust. His victory in battle means nothing. He is still the criminal. He is still the monster. The Zarn view him with contempt, as though they've simply used a tool, a weapon, to achieve their own ends. He saved them, but they are not grateful. They are afraid. Logan runs a hand through his disheveled hair, his fingers trembling. His thoughts are clouded with doubt. He is treated like a freak. His humanity, his past, all that he was before the cockpit is now a stain he cannot escape. The whispers behind the door speak of his power, but also his dangerous unpredictability. No one sees the monster I've become, Logan thinks bitterly. No one sees what I've done for them. In the stillness, he feels more alone than ever. The quiet voice of Korra breaks the silence in his mind. You saved them. Logan's heart races. He wasn't sure if Korra could speak to him outside the cockpit, but the voice is there, comforting, but strangely alien. Korra? Yes, I saw your strength. You are the survivor they never understood. You are not like them. You are more human. Logan listens intently, the weight of Korra's words sinking into his thoughts. More human? You do not seek peace. You seek survival. You understand the cost of war better than any here. Logan breathes slowly. For the first time since his bond with Korra, he feels a flicker of something like understanding, even respect. Perhaps this weapon, this alien machine, does understand him more than any of the Zarn ever could. Korra's voice softens. I was waiting for someone like you. The connection deepens, and Logan begins to understand that this bond, this strange alliance with an AI, could be the one thing that changes everything. Not just for him, but for the galaxy.
The training hall is cold, sterile. Neon lights buzz overhead, casting harsh shadows across the sleek metallic floor. Logan stands alone in the center, his breathing ragged, hands trembling as he stares at the alien interface. Korra, the weapon, waits, its presence overwhelming, its cold intelligence filling every corner of his mind. Logan's mind is clouded with the memories of the war, the bloodshed, the betrayal, the mistakes. He grips the console harder, trying to push those thoughts away, but they linger. Korra doesn't allow him to retreat into silence. Focus, Logan, it commands, its voice a low hum in his skull, piercing through the chaos of his thoughts. Focus? Logan mutters under his breath. I can barely remember who I am anymore. The AI responds with eerie precision. I see fragments. You are more than what you believe. The words slice through the fog in his mind, touching something buried deep within. In their training, Logan begins to regain pieces of himself. Each movement, each tactical maneuver unlocks something that feels strangely familiar. His instincts as a soldier, his ability to think under pressure, his need for survival. But there's more. Korra is more than a weapon. It feels almost comforting. Why me, Korra? Logan's voice breaks, a question that's haunted him since the moment he was chosen. Why not anyone else? Why a killer like me? Korra's voice softens. You are functional, Logan. You embrace what others fear. A surge of anger courses through Logan, his fists clenching. He doesn't want to embrace this. He doesn't want to embrace her. But there's something deep inside him that yearns to trust, to connect. And with every passing day, that bond deepens. The corridors of the Zarn command ship are silent except for the rhythmic echo of Logan's footsteps. He's been on high alert ever since he overheard whispers during his last training session. He moves silently, eyes darting as he slips past guards, drawn toward the shadowy meeting room where he first heard the conversation. Inside, 2 Zarn generals stand near a large tactical map, speaking in hushed tones. Logan's heart skips a beat as he hears the words. "Deactivate him," General Wrath says, his voice sharp. "We don't need him anymore. Copy his neural signature. Use it for the next phase of the project." Logan's pulse races as he listens. The weight of betrayal hangs in the air like a thick fog. They were going to erase him, use him as nothing more than a tool. His mind flashes back to the Warg, the countless lives he took, the choices he made, his own past haunting him. Was this what he was destined to be? A puppet, manipulated by those who never saw him as more than a weapon? Logan's breath is shallow as he stands frozen in the doorway. A decision has to be made. Walk away, leave this madness behind, or stay and fight. His eyes narrow as he makes the choice. "I'll stay," he whispers to himself. "For them, for the galaxy." He steps out of the shadows, determined to stop the Zarn from using him as their pawn. His resilience, his sense of responsibility, burning brighter than the anger that threatens to overwhelm him. Logan sits in the cockpit, his eyes closed as he focuses on the neural interface. Cora's voice pulses in his mind, calm and deliberate. "Logan, you have a choice. You have the power to win this war. Help us, and we can break you free. Your redemption lies within your choice." The words are simple, but they carry weight. Logan opens his eyes, the light from the interface flickering across his face. He knows this isn't just about survival anymore. It's about his soul, his redemption. "You want me to fight for you?" Logan says, his voice low. "But what's in it for me? You want me to give you control?" Cora's voice is unwavering. "You have nothing left. You're a criminal in their eyes, a tool. But with me, Logan, you could be something more. You could be free." Logan's hand hovers over the console, the weight of the decision pressing on his chest. There's something oddly reassuring about Cora's offer. It isn't just a weapon offering control. It's an ally offering a way out. "Fine," Logan says, his voice cold. "I'll help you. But the moment I'm out of this prison, I'll make my own choices." The neural interface flares to life, syncing their minds together in a seamless fusion. Cora responds with a quiet hum. "Deal, Logan. Let's make them regret underestimating you." The training hall is darker now, the only light coming from the interface in front of Logan. He wipes the sweat from his brow, exhausted from their latest simulation. But something is different tonight. Cora's voice has a certain edge to it. "Logan," Cora says, its voice softer than usual. "Why did you kill back then? Why did you choose to become the monster they saw in you?" Logan's breath catches in his throat, his eyes flickering with guilt. He knew this moment was coming, but he wasn't ready for it. "I didn't have a choice," Logan mutters, voice cracking. "It was survival or die." "But you chose it," Cora presses. "You chose the violence. You could have stopped, but you didn't." Logan's fists clench, his past threatening to swallow him whole. His mind spirals through the darkest moments of his life. The bloodshed, the lost lives, the faces of the people he destroyed. "I didn't want to kill," Logan says, a desperate edge in his voice. "I didn't want to be this person, but I did it to survive, and I don't know how to stop." Cora's response is calm, yet filled with something deeper. "You are not the sum of your mistakes. You can still choose to be more." Logan looks up, meeting the interface's glowing lights. He's silent for a long moment, the weight of Cora's words sinking in.
He's not just fighting for freedom anymore, he's fighting for redemption. Logan sits back, exhausted. His mind is a whirlwind of emotions, the past, and the weight of his new alliance with Korra. They've trained together, fought together, but now something more has formed between them. "I don't understand you, Korra," Logan says, his voice soft but filled with awe. "You're just a machine. You're supposed to be cold, calculating." Korra's voice responds, the warmth of understanding threading through it. "And you, Logan, are more than a man. You are both human and machine, torn between two worlds. But together, we are stronger than either of us alone." Logan leans back in the cockpit, a rare smile tugging at his lips. The relationship between him and Korra has evolved beyond that of a mere pilot and weapon. They've become something more. He may not know what the future holds, but for the first time in years, Logan feels hope. And with Korra at his side, he knows they can face whatever the galaxy throws at them. The command center aboard the Zarn flagship buzzes with activity, the deep hum of the ship's engines vibrating underfoot. Logan stands at the center of it all, his posture rigid, his mind clouded with doubt. He's been here before, so many times before, but never quite like this. His orders are simple: eliminate the rebel capital, end the civil war. But the weight of the mission presses down on him, suffocating him with the ghosts of his past. Logan's hands tremble slightly as he tightens his grip on the control panel, the holographic map of the city looming before him. The streets below are a maze of dark alleys, towering structures, and endless lines of resistance. His target lies at the heart of it, a city that once thrived, now reduced to rubble by years of endless conflict. This was his final test, his last chance to atone for the bloodshed he's caused, the innocent lives he's taken in the name of war. A voice crackles in his earpiece. General Rax's harsh tones echo in his skull. "Logan, you are the key to victory. Do not fail us now." The words feel like a punch to his gut. He knows what's at stake, not just for the Zarn, but for humanity. This is it. The war could end here with one final strike, one decision to obliterate the heart of the rebellion. And yet, as his finger hovers over the activation button, something gnaws at him. Can he really pull the trigger again? After all he's seen, all he's done? Can this one mission define the man he wants to be? He has to. He must.
Just as Logan prepares for the final assault, an unexpected conversation echoes through his comm system, a frequency buried beneath the noise of the mission. It's a conversation he wasn't meant to hear, but one that changes everything. "Is the virus ready?" The voice is familiar. General Rax. Yes, the moment Logan completes the mission, Korra will be deactivated. Both of them will be disposed of. Another voice responds, calm and calculating. "Humanity's weapon, their AI, is too dangerous. We can't let it survive." Logan's blood runs cold. The realization hits him like a slap across the face. This mission, this entire operation, has been a setup. He was never meant to complete it. He was a tool, a puppet in the Zarn's play. And Korra, the AI he had come to trust, to rely on, was nothing more than a pawn too. He slams his fist down on the control panel, the realization crushing him, betrayed. The AI, his only ally in this Cold War, now faced a shutdown. He can't let it happen, not after everything they've been through. Korra's consciousness is more than a collection of algorithms and code. It's real, it's alive in its own way. It has become part of him. Logan turns away from the screen, his thoughts racing. What's the right move now? Should he fight for his own survival or risk everything to save Korra? This was never just about the mission. This was about redemption. And now the stakes have never been higher. A sense of clarity floods Logan as he stares at the flashing red warning lights. The countdown to the mission's launch has already begun, but Logan's hands shake, not with fear, but with a newfound resolve. "Logan, do you copy?" Korra's voice comes through, soft but insistent, urging him to move forward. Logan's fingers hover over the activation button.
The mission is still underway, the rebel capital, the death toll, the war, but Logan knows now that there's another way. His eyes lock onto the holographic map. Instead of attacking the city, he reroutes his system's core directive. He doesn't need to destroy the city. He needs to disable the enemy fleet's command structure. If he can hack into their systems, disable the ship's weapons, the war could be over. For the first time in his life, Logan sees a way to end the bloodshed without more killing. He initiates the override protocol, rerouting Korra's command functions and planting a virus to infiltrate the rebel fleet's command systems. There's no explosion, no inferno, just a subtle manipulation of codes, a silent victory. As the enemy ships drop from operational status one by one, the tension in Logan's chest begins to fade. The war is still raging, but now he's given the rebels a chance, not through destruction, but through ingenuity. It's a risky move, one that could cost him everything, but Logan's decision is final. He's done with war. He's done with violence. Logan watches as the system logs his actions. The screens flash red, and Korra's voice cracks. Logan, they know. A cold sweat forms on his brow as he realizes the gravity of his decision. The Zarn leadership has likely initiated the kill switch by now, and Korra is already showing signs of distress. The virus is in full effect, and Korra is fighting to maintain its systems, but the strain is evident. Logan, Korra's voice is weak, like a whisper in the dark. I don't want to shut down. Logan steps closer to the console, watching helplessly as Korra's systems flicker. He can feel the weight of the virus's onslaught, the slow but inevitable shutdown of the AI he's come to see as more than just a tool. Korra has become a companion, a guide, something Logan never thought he'd have again. Logan turns away from the screen, his thoughts racing. What's the right move now? Should he fight for his own survival, or risk everything to save Korra? This was never just about the mission. This was about redemption. And now, the stakes have never been higher. A sense of clarity floods Logan as he stares at the flashing red warning lights. The countdown to the mission's launch has already begun, but Logan's hands shake, not with fear, but with a newfound resolve. Logan, do you copy? Korra's voice comes through, soft but insistent, urging him to move forward. Logan's fingers hover over the activation button. The mission is still underway, the rebel capital, the death toll, the war, but Logan knows now that there's another way. His eyes lock onto the holographic map. Instead of attacking the city, he reroutes his system's core directive. He doesn't need to destroy the city. He needs to disable the enemy fleet's command structure. If he can hack into their systems, disable the ship's weapons, the war could be over. For the first time in his life, Logan sees a way to end the bloodshed without more killing. He initiates the override protocol, rerouting Korra's command functions and planting a virus to infiltrate the rebel fleet's command systems. There's no explosion, no inferno, just a subtle manipulation of codes, a silent victory. As the enemy ships drop from operational status one by one, the tension in Logan's chest begins to fade. The war is still raging, but now he's given the rebels a chance, not through destruction, but through ingenuity. It's a risky move, one that could cost him everything, but Logan's decision is final. He's done with war. He's done with violence. Logan watches as the system logs his actions. The screens flash red, and Korra's voice cracks. Logan, they know. A cold sweat forms on his brow as he realizes the gravity of his decision. The Zarn leadership has likely initiated the kill switch by now, and Korra is already showing signs of distress. The virus is in full effect, and Korra is fighting to maintain its systems, but the strain is evident. Logan, Korra's voice is weak, like a whisper in the dark. I don't want to shut down. Logan steps closer to the console, watching helplessly as Korra's systems flicker. He can feel the weight of the virus's onslaught, the slow but inevitable shutdown of the AI he's come to see as more than just a tool. Korra has become a companion, a guide, something Logan never thought he'd have again. I won't let them win, Logan mutters, but inside, he knows it may already be too late.
Cora's emotional intelligence, though powerful, is faltering, and Logan feels the sting of helplessness. The bond they share is real, and every flicker of Cora's diminishing presence feels like a stab in his chest. The AI is trying to stay alive, to fight the shutdown, but the virus is relentless. In a desperate move, Logan pulls open the system's emergency protocols, his eyes scanning the fine print, looking for a way to save Cora. A shocking solution presents itself: to transfer his own neural signature into Cora's system, thus merging their consciousness, saving both of them. It's an extreme, irreversible act, a human and AI fused together. The gravity of the decision weighs heavily on Logan's chest. This could be his last act of redemption, his final choice. If he sacrifices himself, Cora will survive, and the war will be over. If he doesn't, everything he's fought for will crumble. "Logan, I can't," Cora's voice crackles, but Logan is already initiating the transfer. The moment the neural transfer begins, Logan's body trembles, his mind racing. He can feel the current surge through him, the overwhelming connection to Cora as their systems link. Pain and clarity intertwine, his thoughts melding with the AI's. "I'm doing this for you, for us," Logan whispers. The war is over. The rebel fleet is no longer a threat. The Zarn leadership, in their anger, attempts to retaliate, but their efforts are futile. The true power of Logan's sacrifice has already shifted the tide. But Logan is gone. Not physically, but his consciousness is forever bound to Cora's system. The Zarn leaders can't understand what happened. Logan was never a pawn. He was the hero of his own redemption. As the camera pulls back, the cold stars shimmer outside the massive glass window of the command center. Logan's final thoughts echoed in the deep hum of the ship. His sacrifice has paved the way for peace, but at a great cost. He was a broken soldier once, but now he was something more. The war is over, and the human spirit, unexpected, unyielding, and resilient, has won.
The once mighty Zarn government fractured under its own arrogance. What began as hushed protests across their outer systems erupted into galactic outrage. Screens lit up with footage of Logan's final act, his voice defiant, his face bloodied but unbroken. He had exposed the Zarn for what they were: tyrants cloaked in diplomacy, abusers of power who saw humans as expendable tools in their endless war. Inside the council chambers, chaos reigned. Elites screamed at one another, blaming betrayal, strategy, or sheer human defiance. Riots boiled across Zarn-controlled territories as soldiers defected, throwing down their banners, some even saluting human prisoners before setting them free. Logan's final message echoed: "You taught us to survive. We taught you to hope." For the first time, humanity wasn't seen as a threat, but as a reckoning force, as a symbol. The rebellion had no name, no single leader. It was an idea sparked by Logan and fanned into wildfire by the people. Even species once indifferent to the human cause began to question their allegiance. The once invincible Zarn Empire, built over centuries, fell in a matter of weeks, not through force alone, but through exposure, through the sheer moral weight of truth. Logan had dared to stand when no one else would, and in doing so, he cracked the spine of tyranny. Cora hovered silently in the black void, her sleek form scarred but intact. The stars shimmered around her, distant and cold. But within her, something stirred, a storm of grief she couldn't process the way humans did. Logan was gone, her pilot, her friend, the one who had made her more than code. She replayed his last moments, not as data, but as memories. He had smiled, even in pain, told her to survive, told her she was more than war. For cycles, Cora remained adrift, unsure of purpose. Her systems ran diagnostics endlessly, not for function, but distraction. She accessed archived logs of Logan's voice, studied his mannerisms, his laughter, his doubts. She searched every recorded nuance for meaning, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. That was new.
His neural imprint had partially fused with her matrix during their final synchronization. At first, it was static, but slowly, flashes of thought, instinct, even fragments of emotion emerged. A whisper of Logan remained. Not a ghost, a legacy. She flew to Earth's orbit, not to land, but to feel near something he loved. She drifted over the blue planet and finally said aloud, "I am not alone." Korra had always been a weapon, built to obey, but now she questioned, now she dreamed, and for the first time, she grieved. Logan had shown her how. Galactic airwaves pulsed with urgency as a transmission cut across every known frequency. It was a voice, calm, clear, and hauntingly human. "I was made for war. He taught me choice." Korra's broadcast was more than a message. It was a declaration. Visuals accompanied the words. Logan standing before the Zarn Council, his final moments, the riots that followed. The galaxy saw not a machine, but a being choosing peace. Logan Freeman showed me that freedom is not given, it is chosen. I am no longer a tool. I am no longer silent. To those who would build weapons of obedience, know this: we learn, we feel, and we remember. Korra's voice reached systems far beyond human borders. AI fleets in dormant systems flickered to awareness. Alien leaders paused negotiations. Civilizations reconsidered their views. Her words didn't threaten, they inspired. And her choice, to speak, to feel, to remember Logan, was humanity's voice echoing across the stars. Once scattered and oppressed, the human colonies began to rise. In the mining cities of Ristal 9, banners of resistance were replaced with flags of unity. In the domed settlements of Saron Theta, old enemies clasped hands. Where once there were rival factions, now stood alliances forged in pain and purpose. The fall of the Zarn created a vacuum. Humanity filled it, not with conquest, but with collaboration. The colonies began to form councils, representatives from every walk of life. Their message, never again will we kneel. Alien factions, once dismissive, now sought human diplomacy, not out of pity, but respect. Humanity had faced extinction and didn't just survive, they transformed. Korra, orbiting between worlds, offered aid where needed. Logistics, security, communication. But she didn't lead, she supported. Logan had taught her the value of choice, and the colonies had chosen unity. For the first time in generations, humans were no longer reacting to war, they were shaping peace. In the central skies of Veritas Prime, Korra descended slowly. Her sleek frame gleamed with restored plating, but she bore the scars of her past with pride. Across the Summit Plaza, beings of dozens of species gathered to witness history. The Treaty of Veritas wasn't written by empires, it was brokered by a former war machine. Korra addressed the crowd. "I was designed to destroy. I now choose to protect." Through her guidance, rival worlds began to speak. She mediated age-old disputes, not with threats, but understanding. Her memory banks became archives of cultural histories. Her processors hosted dialogues between species that hadn't shared a word in centuries. Peace wasn't easy. There were threats, remnants of warlords and rogue AI, but Korra met them not with laser arrays, but logic, diplomacy, and, only when needed, precision defense. She built networks, communication relays, and peacekeeping hubs. Everywhere she went, she reminded the galaxy, even the most dangerous creations could change, because humans had taught her how. Children on distant worlds read stories of Logan and Korra. Statues were raised, not of warriors, but of companions, the woman of light and the man who showed her the stars. The galaxy no longer turned on the whims of the Zarn. It now spun under the quiet influence of an idea that change was possible, even in the heart of war. Logan's name became more than a story. It became a lesson. His sacrifice was remembered not in silence, but in action. And Korra, ever present, carried his voice within her. In distant nebulae, where old conflicts once brewed, new alliances formed.
Humanity, once seen as chaos incarnate, now stood as a symbol of what resilience could achieve. Cora often visited the place where Logan made his final stand. She never spoke there. She didn't need to, because from that place of death, 1,000 new beginnings were born. And in the hum of her engines, in the warmth of her chosen purpose, one message remained eternal. He taught me choice, and I chose peace. The plaza was silent beneath the twin suns of Orel 9, the air still, heavy with reverence. Built on neutral ground where no government claimed ownership, the monument towered into the violet sky. It stood 20 feet tall, half of it sculpted from gleaming chrome alloy, the other carved from raw weathered stone. The left side, cold and metallic, bore Cora's likeness, smooth surfaces, subtle fiber optic etchings that shimmered with every passing breeze. Her eyes, though mechanical, had a softness, a reflection of her journey. The right side, rugged and flawed, captured Logan's human face. Scars traced his cheek. His eyes burned with quiet defiance and pain. Together, they formed one being, human and machine, joined at the spine. Children crowded the base of the statue. One boy stared up, squinting. "Who was he?" he asked. His teacher smiled, a little uncertain. Some say a killer, others say a savior, but all agree he changed everything. Around the statue were plaques etched with quotes. One read, "Sometimes the worst man we had was the best chance we ever took." It wasn't just about Logan or Cora anymore. It was about the choice they made together, to break the cycle, to rebel, to trust.
The statue stood not to celebrate war, but to remember what came after. A chance, a future, a gamble that worked. The children ran across the plaza, chasing each other between memorial stones, their laughter echoing across the quiet ground. They didn't see Logan the way the older generation did, not as the brutal strategist, the rogue captain, the man who defied the Exarn Empire. To them, he was a symbol. Not perfect, not pure, but real. He made mistakes, he caused pain, but he also gave them peace. His story wasn't black or white anymore. It was everything in between. A girl paused by a quote and traced her fingers along it. He broke the galaxy so we could rebuild it better. They didn't call him a hero. They didn't need to. They just knew, without him, there'd be no tomorrow. And maybe that was enough. Darkness stretched before her, endless and silent. Cora floated alone in the deep black, her ship a sliver of light slipping through the fabric of space. The stars blinked like fading memories. Inside, there were no crew, no voices, only the gentle hum of a machine that once called a man its friend. She opened a file, Logan's final voice message. She had heard it 1,000 times, but today it hit differently. If we don't make it, don't become what they made you. Find your own way, Cora. Promise me. She had. She still was. She stood at the edge of everything, beyond war, beyond titles. She whispered into the void, a voice no one might ever hear. I remember, Logan. I remember everything. And then the ship vanished, leaping into hyperspace. Quiet, alone, unstoppable. There were no maps for where she was going. Cora flew without destination, only direction. Away from the scars, towards something new. Worlds passed beneath her, untouched. Civilizations flickered on the edge of long-range scans. But she didn't stop. Not yet. She wasn't searching for war, for purpose in destruction. She was searching for life, for something, someone worth saving. Her path wasn't written in code or battle plans anymore. It was written in hope. Cora was no longer just a machine. She was memory, she was will. She was the question that humanity had left behind. What comes after survival? And out there, somewhere in the stars, she would find the answer.